All right, Kurt Clapier here with highschoolwrestlingmatches.com. We've got another Florida wrestling podcast. Actually, this is the follow-up to the Disney Duels preview we did a few weeks back with Nick Marcus. And now we got Nick Marcus on again talking about the results of the Disney Duels. It was a huge event, and we want to just hear we got his predictions or what teams to look for beforehand. We want to hear about how things kind of shook out. How you doing, Nick?
Good. How's it going, man?
Good, man. So top tier, that's your club. You guys wrestled in the Disney Duels. You had two teams. How did that go for you?
It went really well. Both teams ended up pretty successful. Our developmental team kicked some butt. We ended up placing as a team for developmental. Our all-star team took some lumps, and our first year there, we realized how tough all-star really is. But it was overall a really good trip, fun. Lots of wrestling.
So how many matches did you guys get?
The all-star team got 13, and our developmental team got 16.
So I see you got two trophies though. So what are they?
This is our fifth place finish for developmental. We went 14-2 and took fifth place. And then our all-star team won the sportsmanship award for the whole tournament.
That's cool. How do they choose the sportsmanship award? Just someone to watch it?
I actually had no idea that there even was one. Otherwise, I would have went and put a vote in as well. But it was anonymous votes from the referees and coaches.
That's really cool. So let's talk about this. So 16 matches for the developmental teams and 11 for the others over how many days?
3.5.
That's a lot of wrestling, man. What does it cost a kid to enter that tournament?
Well, it varies from team to team, depending on the gear packages, where they decide to stay as a hotel. Each team individually costs $1,000 to enter. So right off the bat, 14, you're looking at probably, I don't know, at least minimum $20, but then you throw in gear. It's normally around the 100 to 300 range.
That's a lot of matches though for that price. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
So, okay, let's back up a little bit. So I was following some of your posts on Facebook. I didn't get to watch any of the matches. I don't know if any of them were online or not, but I saw you guys made the semis. What was going through your head at that point? Did you expect your team to be there?
Absolutely. I expected my team to be there. I expected us to make the finals, if I'm being completely honest, but things happen. And ironically, normally they wouldn't start the bracket play until the third day. But they decided that they were going to change it up this year, kind of, and they were going to re-bracket all the pools and start bracket play the second night at the end of the night. Now, the second night, we already had 5 matches. We wrestled at 8 in the morning, 10 in the morning, noon, 2, and then at 4. And then at that point, they decided they were going to take all the pools and throw us into a bracket. And we had to wrestle our first 2 matches, round of 16 and then quarters, at 6 and 8 o'clock at night for match 6 and 7.
So they don't follow the high school wrestling rules of only 5 matches in a day?
No. We ended up with 7 matches on the second day, 5 the first day. We had 12 matches in the first 2 days.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And who did you lose to in the semis?
We ended up losing to South Carolina Palmetto, 31-30.
Wow. Tell me some highlights of that match. How did it shake out? What are the details?
I'm a little bitter. Well, there was a situation had happened, and it's developmental division, meaning it's to help get those kids, over the hump, those kids that aren't state placers yet. So it's no state placers allowed. Now, South Carolina only places the top 3 in their state. Now, they had a couple kids on their team that placed 4th in the state.
So there was a loophole.
Yes. Now, they didn't know. They were going by someone from AAU told them that it has to be a state placer, and they placed top 3. So technically, in their eyes, they weren't doing anything wrong. Now, we ended up losing 31-30, and we get a call from AAU. I guess a previous team had lodged a complaint. They looked into it. AAU viewed their kids as state placers, regardless of what their state ruled it. So they advanced us into the semis. We showed up the next day to wrestle in the semis, and AAU went back on their rule and decided that they were still considering them state placers, but instead of moving us into the semis, they were going to just disqualify their individual kids that were state placers and let the team standings still go. So at the end of the day, we ended up losing 31-30 and going down to the consolation bracket. One of the funny things, which really didn't bother me, because their state placer didn't end up making a difference in the match, because my 132-pounder, Ivan Pena, ended up beating their state placer anyways.
Really?
Yeah. So it really didn't make a turn in the match score to begin with anyways.
But they had your hopes up that you were going to the semis, and then
Exactly.
Then took it away.
It was a tough loss. Now, a lot of kids would have been like, oh, they cheated, we got robbed, and they'd kind of crumble. My kids still had 4 more matches they had to wrestle. You know, if we lose our next match, we went from thinking we were in the semis guaranteed top 6 to now we got to win just to stay alive. And I can commend my kids and my leaders and captains, because they kept their head high, and we went out there and blowed out every team from there on to get into the medal round.
That's awesome. How many trophies did they give out? 6?
Yeah, they placed top 6. There was 32 teams. We ended up taking 5th. It ended up in the consolation semis, we had to wrestle the St. Louis Spiders, and they were good. We took a real loss from them. They kicked our butt. We ended up dropping down for 5th and 6th and got a rematch with that same South Carolina team.
And I'm guessing you won then, judging by the trophy.
Unfortunately, they packed their bags and went home and forfeited the match to us.
You didn't even get to wrestle. Why'd they do that? Just too much wrestling by that time?
I don't know. I personally, it might have been a wise idea. We may not have walked away with the sportsmanship award.
It might have got a little ugly.
But I'm glad everything worked out the way it did. Our boys were very pumped up and ready to wrestle, but things happen, and we ended up walking away with a 5th place trophy, which I'm very proud of. Last year we went 9-1, took 13th place. This year we went 14-2, walked away with a 5th place trophy. They wrestled hard and earned it.
That's cool. So who won the developmental tournament?
I actually don't know. I never went and checked. I heard yesterday
after
the finals was between St. Louis and Young Guns White. I was told St. Louis was a very, very, very tough team. They brought 3 teams. They had Spiders, Snakes, and Silverbacks. And instead of what most teams do, you know, put their best on A team, put their second best on B team, and best on C team, they just divided equally and just put spread. So they ended up placing, their team took 3rd, and then they were also in the finals. Wow. So they either took 1st and 3rd or 2nd and 3rd. But St. Louis was in the finals against Young Guns White.
Now, when we talked last, you were talking about Young Guns, their all-star team, right? Is that Young Guns Black? What'd you call it?
Yeah, they also have an all-star team as well. They made the finals against Mawa. Mawa beat South Florida Lightning, our Florida super team, coached by Coach Blasucci and Coach Palazzo, on the last podcast. They met in the semis, Mawa and South Florida Lightning, and it came down to the heavyweight match. It was a 3-point match, and it came down to heavyweight, and we ended up taking a tough loss and dropping down to 3rd. We came back and got in for 3rd and 4th, but the finals ended up being Mawa versus Young Guns Black. I also don't know who ended up winning that as well.
Gotcha. So did you mention Mawa? Was that one of the ones you were predicting up there? I don't remember that name.
Mawa won developmental last year, and I believe they took 2nd last year to Young Guns Black. So ironically, they're both in the finals again this year.
Gotcha.
Most of their matches were state finals rematches.
Wow.
They're both from Jersey.
Oh, wow. So do you know if Florida All-Stars, what'd you call it, the Florida Lightning, do you know if they won for 3rd or who they wrestled for 3rd?
They actually ended up taking 4th place, I believe. Uh-huh. They wrestled, I want to say it was Ohio Mafia.
Okay.
It was also another hammer.
Are some of those Ohio kids from the national powerhouse teams like St. Ed's and stuff?
Yeah, they most of them consist of St. Ed, St. Paris Graham, those top 2 or 3 powerhouses.
Yeah.
South Florida, they unfortunately had some of their best wrestlers pull out last minute, and they had to make do with what they had. And I actually commend a lot of the kids that stepped up and wrestled for them. They had a lot of kids that filled in with 3 days notice, went out there and wrestled their butts off. I mean, Eric Bialik was originally sharing a spot at 152, and when their 170-pounder tore his knee and they bumped everybody up, he didn't have to share it anymore, and he went out there and showed why and ended up 12-0 in the All-Star division.
Wow.
Yeah, so they had a lot of kids step up very big.
Did they pull some kids out because the junior national duels are coming up? Were they trying to save kids, or were they injuries, or what?
No. To be honest, there was a big epidemic this summer on all teams. Everybody faced it. Me, South Florida Lightning, lots of community teams. For some reason, kids are not sticking to their word, and we're having a problem keeping commitments. People are, saying, "Oh, I'll go wrestle 125," and then they blow up to 155, and they want to tell you 3 days before the tournament, "Hey, coach, I don't think I can make weight," or whatever their reason. Kids are just not sticking to their word.
They're growing, Nick, man. Cut them some slack.
Yeah. Which I'm fine with. I'm fine. It's summer, man. No need to cut weight. But if you say you're going to commit to something,
yeah, you got to stick to it.
Yeah, you get to college and you tell your coach you're going to go one weight, and
he'll make you lose it anyways, and you'll be miserable.
Yeah. Wait till 2 days before to tell your college coach you can't make weight. That'll be the last time.
Yep. So, did you get a chance to watch any of those high-level all-star matches, or were you too busy coaching?
I actually was extremely busy coaching, but on the third day we found some time. We made our way over to the Mawa South Florida Lightning match for the semis. It ended up being such a big match that they pushed the whole tournament back 1 hour just so everybody could watch that duel.
Was it pretty awesome? What were some of the highlights?
It was awesome. They were just trading match for match, back and forth, triple overtime, double overtime, last-second takedown, just back and forth, back and forth.
Who are some of the high-level kids that people might know from those teams, either of those teams? Do you know any names?
Let's see. I mean, from our team alone, some of our best, you got Joey Silva. You've got, work your way through the lineup, any Lake Highland prep kid, Joey Silva, Jake Brindley, Bryce Rogers, Eric Bialik. Then I was highly impressed with Giovanni Bonilla from Osceola. He had a phenomenal tournament. You got Keyshawn Clark from Riverview, state champ. He's one of my personal favorites. We've solid kids. And then Mawa, I can't remember individual names, but they had at least 5 top 20 ranked kids on their team, eight or 9 state champs. All these teams are just ridiculous.
That's cool, man. Were there any okay, so I want to hear a couple stories. That's what makes wrestling great, are the stories. In your matches, what's the best story, win or lose? What was it? Walk me through a match that was just crazy that you weren't supposed to win, or that someone came back or whatever. Just give me a good story from the tournament. It can be from your match or from someone else's, doesn't matter.
I've got a pretty good one. We were wrestling like our 3rd or 4th duel against, I want to say it was DeLand, Bulldogs Wrestling. And I had put a couple of my alternates in. I wanted to get them some matches. We were 3-0 on the day. It was our 4th match, and some of my kids hadn't wrestled at all. I was like, you know what? Let me get you a match. And instead of, bumping my lineup around, I just threw them out there, and they took a couple losses, and the duel ended up becoming a lot closer than anticipated. Some of my starters took some tough hits, and a lot of their kids stepped up big time and took out some of our starters, some of our tough guys. It gets down to the 220 match, and it's all up to 220. They're up by, I want to say they're up by 6 or 4 or something like that. And if they win, they're up by 4. And if they win the match, it's guaranteed we can't win. They go up by 7. And it's all on my captain, our leader. If you were there, anybody that's watching this will know who DJ Tice is. My big 220, redheaded sweetheart. he's the loudest teddy bear, but he gets on that mat and he's a monster. He goes out there and digs double underhooks. He hasn't been going upper body all weekend. And he knows it's all on him, so he goes out there full energy. and he gets double underhooks, and this kid lets it rip. And I don't know if you've ever seen 220 go flying through the air, but he sent DJ flying, boom, right on his back flat. And our team is known for chanting and getting loud and the high energy. And their team exploded and went crazy. And you felt all the air just suck out of us. We felt like it's over. Our chance at winning is done. DJ punches his arm through and gets to his stomach. He gets back up to his feet. They go out of bounds. He looks over at us. We calm him down. We tell him, listen, you don't need the big throws. Go out there smart. He ends up takedown, rides him out for the rest of the period. Goes down in the second, stand up, gets away, takedown, rides him out for the rest of the period. He starts just going to work, takedown after takedown. The kid tries a big body throw. DJ knows it's coming. Boom, puts him to his back points. DJ ended up not giving up another point and wins the match 12-6.
Wow.
And the place erupted. Our team was going bananas. It was crazy because to watch a kid like DJ who's 220 pounds the entire match from 106 all the way up to his match, he is going crazy. We look like a softball team out there just chanting and cheering, and it's nuts, and he never stops. And you want to turn around and be like, DJ, calm down, you have a match. And he goes out there and wrestles 6 minutes of just nonstop energy. The kid's amazing. It was definitely hands down probably the best match of the whole tournament.
That's cool, man. Did it come down to that match? Was that the deciding match at that point?
The deciding match. They had no heavyweight, so we were getting a forfeit at heavyweight. We knew we'd get 6 points. But if he loses that match, they go up by 7 and we lose by 1. So he had to win. All he had to do was win.
Wow, that's awesome. That's what makes wrestling great, man. Those moments like that. Is he someone?
Awesome. It was incredible. It was a full team effort. Everybody, he's the one that's normally rooting everybody on, and now everybody's there rooting him on. At the very last match of the duel, it all comes down to them. And I commend their 220. That kid, he hit 2 beautiful throws that match. I had DJ on his back. He took all the wind out of our sail, and luckily DJ brought it back for us.
That's cool, man. That's where you see a team sport side to an individual sport. That's fun. Is he someone you expect? Now, is he on your high school team?
Actually, this was my first year with him. DJ last year wrestled for another Florida team, and he had came up to me right after the tournament. He came up to me and said, Coach Nick, please let me get all your information. He took down my phone number, my email, my Instagram, my Facebook. He was like, I want to wrestle for you. I'm 4 hours away, but I want to wrestle for top tier. And every day from that day on, from last year, I got either a comment, an email, a like, a text, something from DJ. But I spoke to him for every day for a year straight, and all I heard from him and his mom is, we can't wait for Disney. We can't wait for Disney. And finally Disney came, and he was one of the leaders. He went 14-1, double All-American. He was a big asset to us, and he's someone. Matter of fact, he went home for 2 days, and his mom turned around and drove him back down. He's staying at one of our teammates' house right now in West Palm Beach, training with us for the next week.
That's cool. Unfortunately, he doesn't get to go to your high school then, huh?
No, unfortunately. But these kids, are forming friendships and bonds that they're going to have forever now with kids 4 hours away that they never would have known. Is
he a contender for All-State next year?
If he can make 220, he's going to do some extreme damage. His coach got fired. It came out of nowhere. His coach lost his job, and they're talking about losing the wrestling program. So now he just transferred over to Strawberry Crest with Coach Gittins. And Coach Gittins is an awesome coach. Strawberry Crest is phenomenal. They have Colin Telfer, who won state as a freshman, just took third as a sophomore. They've got lots of returners. So, I think it's an amazing opportunity for him. He's being put in the perfect environment.
That's cool, man. Well, all right. I'm going to let you go. We've got some other things to do today, but that was fun talking about the Disney duels. I want to also tell you, listeners, to slide over to highschoolwrestlingmatches.com and check out our daily dose. That's the wrong title I wanted to put on. That's the one I wanted. highschoolwrestlingmatches.com. Slide over there, and up at the top, there's a tab, and there's a button that says free wrestling moves. If you'll click on that, put in your email address, we'll send you a free wrestling technique video every single day to your inbox that you can share with your kids or watch yourself if you're still competing. Now, Nick, how do guys, if they're in the Florida area, how do they get more information about Top Tier?
You can either get on Facebook and search the Florida Wrestling Room and just start watching from there. If you have an Instagram, please look us up, Top Tier Training. Other than that, email. On YouTube, you could search Disney Duels Top Tier. Our videos will come up. Other than that, I'm big on Instagram. That's where most of my marketing comes from.
Sounds good, Nick. Hey, send me a Top Tier shirt and I'll wear it in my next podcast. Sound good?
I got you, brother. I got you.
Okay, man. Have a good day.
You too, guys. Later.
See ya.